of the security of the diplomat that has been reduced. Let's go across to Ratan, Sharda, who's also joining us. If I can get your response, how do you read into this? India, of course, sending out a very strong message with the security of the UK High Commission that has now been reduced following what we saw happened in UK.
See, love and affection cannot be one way. Respect cannot be one way. And India is no more the timid nation it used to be. It answers back when it is threatened, when it is not treated well. And this behavior of the UK police in London was highly condemnable. It was shameful that they just stood by and saw this insult of the tricolour and also of the commission itself. So naturally, India had to react. It has reacted with restraint, but message is clear. I think the foreign powers, the so-called Commonwealth, etc., should know that common is wealth only when everybody behaves in a common manner. You cannot behave like a colonial power anymore, nor can you treat your other members of the global community in a very downright manner.
And Mr. Sharda, do you think that a strong response, a sharp response should come in from the UK government also? Because this raises a lot of questions as to how did this really happen? Khalistanis there on a rampage and pulling down the Indian flag, and this happening just outside the Indian High Commission in London.
Naturally, I said that for the police to stay idle and see what's happening inside of the Indian nation itself, and from when they already knew this is happening, it's not possible that this particular country did not have notion what's happening with the Khalistani supporters. But still keeping quiet, not taking action, shows that either the police has lost its mojo, it has lost its intelligence strength, or they are careless. In both cases, they have to wake up. India will take care of its own, but they have to wake up.
All right, Mr. Sharda, just stay with us. Let's go across to a senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, who continues to stay with us. Abhishek, your quick reading to what has transpired back home. And do you think a lot of questions need to be answered by the UK government also at this stage?
Samiksha, so a couple of points. This is sourceless information coming. Now, this review of security of diplomatic establishments in the diplomatic enclave in New Delhi was done in the light of the episodes that have panned out over the last couple of months, in fact, but particularly what happened in the United Kingdom, in London, a couple of days back. So the review made our agencies understand or realize that while our diplomatic personnel are at a considerable threat or a considerable threat perception goes around our diplomatic teams in the Western capitals, particularly in Europe, because of these forces, including from Khalistan separatist forces to, Kashmiri terrorist forces and the Pakistani deep state. That kind of security threat perception is not there around their diplomats and their establishments here in New Delhi. So while we have, for example, in the case of London, few days before the Khalistani people, these elements came in and compromised security, including injuries to two members of the diplomatic team there in London. Adequate information was given to the security agencies there, to either the London Metropolitan Police or Scotland Yard, whichever. And yet that episode was allowed to happen. So while the argument on their side is that they believe in less visible security and that they believe in freedom of expression, these teams here in New Delhi continue to enjoy considerable amount of increased security despite threat perception not being there. So that review has been done, as part of which, beginning with the United Kingdom, we have seen these pictures of the barricades, for example, being removed. So there would be an element of quid pro quo now, an element of reciprocity now in terms of making the security arrangements around the diplomatic teams here in Chanakyapuri diplomatic enclave, again, similarly less visible, less intrusive, and more in line with what our diplomats, for example, get in those capitals.
Yes. Abhishek, just a quick follow-up question. Would you say that diplomatically the talks haven't transpired to the best of interest, which is a result we are seeing the security of UK High Commission having been reduced?
Well, I'm sure there is a communication happening, and both at the level of the missions here and then, of course, at the larger level of governments where the MEA speaks to their counterparts in these capitals. So that's going to happen. But then, given the fact that this was more a courteous extending courtesy, sometimes not reciprocated, but still we sort of carried with it. That element of reciprocity now effectively has been brought in with this review that has been put in place, Samiksha. And as I said, this is beginning with the United Kingdom, but obviously it will go on to other embassies and high commissions in the diplomatic enclave area.
All right, Abhishek, thank you for sharing your insights with us. So that's the latest that's coming in with the security of the UK High Commission having been reduced back home. This, of course, comes a day after we saw how the Khalistanis went on a rampage outside the Indian High Commission in London.